If it was.
I got more.
He's very amusing.
I got a lot more in me.
He's very amusing, trust me.
Spoiled the grandkids as much as possible. They went over to Mary's brothers.
Good. That's it.
You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me.
Get one of the,
You're killing me, Smalls.
where the district works out. Okay, because people have been asking me, I'm the only know where they are either, so it's a hard time answering them.
Yeah, stop in and see Brenda, she's got it.
Oh, how are you, sir?
They just had the, well, you didn't send me an attachment, but I read through it today.
Hello, hello.
No.
I'm here.
No, I didn't get that. No. Is this, who did this? Oh, okay.
That's never good.
Yeah, because they actually have to do the permit or whatever, you know. That's fine. It's no big deal. I looked everything over today, so,
Good, how are you?
it's just under the redevelopment statute, it's just the economic development area.
That's what you were looking for?
That's what it would be.
That's what was put in everybody's pocket.
Yeah. But, I think we're good. Yeah, I think we're good, as far as, you know, how to do it. It's just like, I just had questions on what particular statute under the redevelopment statute to do it under. Because we have to actually establish that area. Okay.
We look at it.
Yep, yeah.
Port
Yeah, I got
advisory
that.
to the city and DCF.
Yeah, I got that.
Grant information, media relations.
But Jeffersonville and New Albany have done it too. So, and those, remember how I told you there's certain ones that they had statutes for, you know, for
5
certain
years,
populations. Like Marion County and,
I don't know.
South Bend was one of those, but she
I would
said that they
guess that,
Jefferson and New Albany established areas, so.
Not very exciting, is it?
Hey, Donnie.
The thing is, it has to be funded with state and city money, so we're gonna have to apply for some type
It's
of
only 1 year.
state money.
But if you look here, that's only 1 year. But then it says underneath it,
I appreciate that.
Maybe. I don't know if that would, you know what I mean? That would satisfy that part. Riverfront project must be funded in part with state and city money, so it can't just be our city money, it has to be
I could have
state.
sworn I read 5
You
here
back?
somewhere.
But everything else looks good,
Good to see you, man.
as far as the 5 requirements we have. You know, as far as how far away it is, da-da-da-da, and then of course just the ordinance.
Looks like it's just yearly.
How do you get in?
1,500 or 3 city blocks.
No, I mean, I have several here, but I'm supposed to go and find, I don't.
Yeah,
Want
but
to take a look
that's
at
only
it for briefly and
under
then
the
get
second
back
part
to
of
me
it, which is C.
for Board of Works?
Right.
Short straw.
Need it back?
But I'm not sure about you can just walk around with beverages in your hand.
We're gonna be in the movies
Yeah,
tonight?
it's on. Right,
I don't know.
yeah.
I didn't see a truck out there.
I like it.
He's gonna,
I found a couple that we're looking at.
he has been qualm test.
Yeah, pretty happy.
What area?
It's
Wait a minute.
Valley, kind of a
Yeah, there's 5 now.
Yeah, there,
We have to have one more.
yeah, we need one. Get the street.
That'd be alright. We gotta go home, I guess. We got Board of Works.
We had,
No, it's,
maxed it out, so 450 people.
there's another little lake.
It's not like Carl, that's over capacity.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be disappointing to him?
And there's a house up on the top.
Wouldn't that be disappointing to him?
And there's kind of some apartments there on the right as you're going in.
Yeah.
And that, your house.
It's back, I think, in
And
the.
then, Georgetown Road, a couple of places. And we have
one
looked
day
at some
trying to find out what it
places
was.
in Bright.
But it's like,
That's fine as well.
I think it's like
Yeah,
two
more
more
gas on that.
I figure it's close because when they do that, it's usually around 200.
Cause they called me today and they were asking me a bunch of questions. And later on, I got a text from them saying they got it all worked out. Cincinnati thought they had talked to you.
Bobby and I will be there for 5 months.
Yeah, and just do this,
Probably say grandson, right, same as me.
let John Bond go first. And then we'll let these guys follow up. And talk about some of the stuff. And then they have a legislation day.
Bobby, when do you leave?
Oh, yeah, there's all these ordinances
If
out there.
anybody's interested in.
I'm jealous.
All right, still breathing. Good sign.
Feet hit the ground, that's all that matters.
We might have to do that.
I was talking to Grant earlier.
I'll wait till winter's over
I don't know where you
now.
went.
Some right?
I'm just
Good
talking
food.
away and telling you everything, and all of a sudden,
No problem. I was just curious.
Woman who runs 13. No, I'm giving somebody find somebody in there to go. Trust me. No, because Zion doesn't need to go. You know what I mean?
Then you go there 7 days.
Fine, how about yourself?
Fat sassy. I go down next to
Well, once he does,
How's he doing? They figure what's wrong?
You got it.
yeah,
Well, that's right. You're not going to go through that yet, are you?
I called him back.
Really?
I called him back.
Yeah, matter of fact, I'm on mine.
You talked to him.
Probably 5th year coming up, isn't it, every 5 years? Yeah. I think it's every 5 years. So who's building here? I thought he was making
Where's
sitting
everybody
outside.
at?
I don't know.
Did you go back in the back?
No, Bill. Oh, no. Dog.
You what?
Bill's dog bit him on the cheek.
really?
Chunk out the cheek there. Plastic surgery today.
You're kidding me.
What kind of dogs did you have?
Little dachshund. He's trimming its toenails.
Oh my
Said he didn't
goodness.
like it and jumped up.
Basketball game across my house right now.
He didn't think nothing about it. He started feeling blood come down the cheek and look and got a big chunk out of his cheek there.
That was the guy that helped.
I got him today. I gotta go pick him up tomorrow.
Let me see what
So,
about the other time.
It was sitting here when we got here. I don't know.
if you call me the next day or two, I'll drop
Aaron
my
did.
bills off too if you want me to.
Yeah.
Stitched it up.
I just got it in the mail, so I just shared it with everybody. I don't know. So yeah,
I got it too.
I didn't want anybody to say I didn't give them anything. So
Yeah. They told him to go to a plastic surgeon, maybe they can fix it. All right. You won't mess that pretty face up, you know.
yeah, I'm fine with that. How are we? Anybody willing to pay? That's the question.
We don't have enough, do we?
Huh?
We don't have enough, do we? No. No. Bill's not here. Mike's not here.
Time to go home.
We can have board.
Yeah.
We have a board of works. We can do board of works. Well, no, Mayor's here or Mario's here.
Mario and Donnie's there.
That's for Board of
Donnie's
Works.
here, so we got enough for board of works.
No.
All I know is about Mike. He said he has to get a colonoscopy tomorrow, so he's drinking some stuff today. He's not. He said he wouldn't be here. I don't know. He's got to get a colonoscopy tomorrow, so he said he wouldn't be here. He has to drink some stuff, I guess, the day before it.
He won't be here.
That's what he. So that's the only person I know about.
Yeah, he won't be here. He's thinking that.
Too. Got 2 starting teams on that team. Got an NBA team.
Can we start with the Board of Works and then if they don't
They shouldn't
come,
lose a game this year.
call it?
They shouldn't lose a
Mario's
game
in the
this
back
year.
looking for Bill right now, but Donnie's here somewhere. There's Donnie.
Bill's not gonna be here.
But Mario and Donnie are here.
Yeah.
The only one might maybe
That's what
Duke
JR
might
said.
be-
He got bit by a dog.
Wisconsin coot, maybe.
He got bit by his dog.
Yeah.
Who did?
Bill?
They
He's not gonna be here for sure.
Team on the bench.
That's what JR said. I don't know. Dang.
I don't have enough corn for the council meeting. I don't have enough for the council or utility board. I might be Board of Works, that's all I got. I don't have a quorum to
To
have a
do
meeting.
Parks and Playground.
Takes these three.
You can go ahead and call it to order and we can say that we can't do any business because of,
Okay.
Let me do roll call.
Call the Parks meeting to order.
Member Jane Pope.
All right, sir, see you.
Member Aaron Cook.
Here.
Member Bill Bruner. Member Mike Lawrence. Member J.R. Holcraft.
I'm here.
City Attorney Leslie Votaw.
here.
Utility Director Olin Clausen.
Present.
President Mayor Dennis Carr.
Here.
And myself.
I think two of them's out on medical, and I'm not sure about the other one, so,
Don't have a quorum.
don't have a quorum, so we'll move on to, utility board.
No,
No.
we don't have utility.
Not
board.
a quorum.
Board of Works. Move on to Board of Works. We can do Board
Two
of
Board
Works.
of Works seated.
Where'd Donnie go? Donnie. They are. We're doing Board of Works.
I'll go find him, Aaron.
We're done.
In the back.
I'll go find him.
I'm losing members right and left. Can I get some of the audience or what? Something wrong.
Good, how are you doing?
You want that?
The line item?
You just wait, it's coming. This is a contract.
Yeah, it's a contract. They handle all of the grants.
I know, but there should be a amount in there.
Yeah.
I don't. I just got this from Jack.
Y'all ready? Call this Board of Works meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Member Donnie Bryant.
Present.
Member Aaron Cook.
Here.
Member Bill Bruner. Member Mario Todd.
Here.
Assistant Police Chief Mike Lanning.
Here.
Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine.
Here.
EMS Director Bobby Mills.
Here.
City Attorney Leslie Votaw.
Here.
Utility Director Olin Clausen. President Mayor Dennis Carr.
Here.
And myself.
Bill Bruner's absent. He had a accident, medical accident. Okay, any announcements? Hearing none, approved minutes previous meeting.
So move.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
I'll abstain.
Committee reports. Fire Department, John Tremaine.
I passed out the run totals for November. Everybody should have that. We had 35 calls for last month. Just let the board know we finished up our last quarter burn Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so went well over at the training facility. And still working on the summary of the ISO report. This is a lot of information I'm just trying to pull out of this thing. It'll be coming here in the next couple of weeks. That's all I have.
Your Honor.
Yes.
Johnny, can you address some of the environmental problems we've had here in the last few weeks?
Yeah, I've been in contact with Mario on a couple occasions. If you remember in, what was it, October, on the newsletter I had put in about the barrel that was found down at the boat docks. and then substance. Just like that instance, we had to call in a special company because we don't know what it is, and it's got to be disposed of properly. And it does start getting quite pricey to do that. And, well, on November 2nd, it happened again. Somebody left a gallon of toluene at the recycle place over here at the fairgrounds. So toluene is a known carcinogen. We don't want to mess with that. So again, we had to call in, and we did Environmental Enterprises because that's who we dealt with. That's who did the cleanup on 50 for the Clorox tanker truck. That's who helped out over at the primary school with all the salt water. So me and Mario were just talking about having to, this is getting to be $1,000, $1,500 a pop every time this happens. So, bring the board abreast, what's going on.
Where was it left? Where was the toluene left?
Over at where the
Cycling center.
At Agri Hall.
cycling bins are over at the fairgrounds. And actually, somebody in passing seen it, knew what it was. So that's when they called the firehouse.
Cleaning solvent, but it's real.
Yeah, I was just wondering exactly where it was, whether it was us or the county, but it sounds like it was over on Third.
Yeah, it's actually at our property there at the recycle center.
You have a fund for this, don't you?
No, we do not. No. In the past, we had taken it, there was emergency fund. I think we had 75,000 in there, kind of a token number that we
Like
just
the
carried
tractor
on.
fund?
Yeah,
I think we did away with that several
we
years
did.
ago.
I mean, I've got a hazardous waste fund, but I think it's $1,000. That was just stuff, getting stuff off the highway. That's all that was ever for.
So it's $1,500 for each
Oh,
time?
This gallon of toluene was $1,062.
1,026.34.
Then, what was that, 30-gallon drum was 18 something?
Yeah, it was actually half of a, 55-gallon drum busted.
You got an emergency fund you can take it out of?
I don't have a
Well, we'll get with Jack and find the monies, but we need to strongly consider a fund that, a line item. And this would be through utilities, through, all inclusive on the environmental side.
I think we're supposed to have a disaster fund anyway.
We do have a disaster fund.
Well,
But that's
You would have to deem it a disaster. This is
Right.
more of an environmental
That's
impact.
$295. We have that, but that's only if there's a state of emergency,
emergency.
like
Correct.
if we had,
Right.
tornado.
How much money are we looking for?
This
This last one?
1,000.
Yeah, 1,026.34 is the, but it would need to be a fund we have access, because it's like 24/7. He may get a call that, we've got to call this group in.
We'll give Jack a look it up, we need to start a fund.
Line item in there.
We'll have to-
Find out. There's probably, between us, and then we'll figure out what we can do. I'll kind of look, see what everybody else does.
Okay.
Oh, we probably would have to do an additional appropriation.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. Any more, John?
No, that's it.
Police Department.
No report, man.
EMS Director.
Now, Mayor, I want to bring before the board the Philip 12 lead EKGs we got on order. They're still on back order. I did talk to the sales rep today, and he's supposed to get back with me next week. So hopefully we can get these by end of the year. And I know our cutoff date is on the 11th, but this has already been approved by the board. So this might go into next year, especially the building part of it.
Think the building cuts off the 13th?
It cuts off the 11th. And I talked to Suzanne about this, and she said I should bring this back up, just let you be aware of what's going on.
The funds will come out of, even though it's in our, it won't be paid till next year.
I mean, it's not coming out of any, it's not coming out of MDF, it's coming out of my non-reverting or the billing money. So, like I said, it's been approved, it's just a matter of getting the monitors here.
This be a carryover to next year.
That'd be carryover, yeah. It won't be nothing, shouldn't have to get anything else approved, no additional. Yeah, just letting you be aware of what's going on. Hopefully we can get this taken care of. That's all I have.
Mayor, if I could, Bobby, if you could get with me tomorrow, because, no,
I won't be here.
well, sometime this week. And I'm working on a list of encumbrances that we're going to carry over where projects aren't finished. I can probably just add that to the list and then forward that information to Brittany and Tyler, and they can present it to this board at the last meeting of the year.
Is it okay, Bobby?
Mike, it'll be, no, I don't even have it tonight. It'll be next week.
That'll work, just early next week.
Any more, Bob? New business, having none. Old business, Mike Clark, Lawrenceburg Clock Tower Improvements. Any opening more?
Thank you, Your Honor. We put this out to bid again since we had to disqualify the bids the first go-round. This time, we only have one quote, and I'll open that and we'll see what we have. This is from Flannery Painting, Inc. And the bid is for $43,200. And if you would, if you'd like to go ahead and award this pending final staff review and approval on it, then go ahead and grant me authority, if it is complete, to execute the contract.
Anything, board?
We've had these quotes go out in years past. Is this kind of in line with the prices that,
Well, this went out, and there was one price down in the 30s and one in the 70s. We rebid it. We held a mandatory pre-bid meeting to make sure everyone was on the same page, and this time it came in at 43.2. So I'm assuming this is probably a good price as long as we've got a complete bid.
This is just for clock tower, it's not the mooring.
No, this is
Just
just
the
clock.
clock tower.
Any more from board? Any motion?
I'd so move once he goes over the specs, make sure they,
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Jackie Stubbs, Dillon Community Foundation Agreement.
This is the agreement, the annual agreement that we always do with Dearborn County Community Foundation. Do I need to read this agreement, or it's a contract? It's their annual that they do. It's an agreement from January 1st, 2015 through December 31st, in which they will kind of oversee all of our scholarships, grants, program. We've been doing this for a number of years with them.
I didn't see any problems with it.
Any board see anything?
Did we put this in the budget?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is for the call, Tremaine.
Tremaine, and it's their grant agreement. There's a $40,000 fee that goes to them,
I think it's the administrative fee.
administrative fee.
3%, yeah.
And there's also a provision in there as far as the amount of funding, so, this probably would have also had to go in front of council to figure out, what we budgeted for the,
Right.
I don't know.
It was in the budget for the budget.
I did not, look at that amount, so, this would be pending the appropriation. I
Right.
think we did, contingent upon the appropriation, but I believe that that's been done.
Anything else on board? Entertain a motion?
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against?
And I'm sorry, I did misstate. The fee, the administrative fee for the memorial scholarship is $20,000, and then there's a 3% annual administrative fee, 3% of the program funds, and that's for the grant program, just so you know. Does that change your motion?
No.
Okay.
I'd like to see it in the packet though, next time. Been nice.
Yeah.
Okay, let's vote all SOP approval sheet.
At our last meeting, we did, at our last meeting and at other meetings, we did approve some SOPs. The last time, looking at the minutes right, was the Narcan and the towing. Previously, there was a change to just the procedure on termination and ballistic vest policy. Because these have all passed by the board, I have in your packets a sheet basically that will be, it's just an approval of the SOPs as a whole with these new amendments. So I'm asking the board to sign this today, and we'll also have Chief Hunnefeld sign too, so.
Anything on board?
I have nothing, Your Honor.
Entertain a motion.
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sign two of them.
Yeah. Ayes have it.
And I actually will get all members to sign that before we get it to you. They passed it.
This is not on the agenda, but they was here for the city council meeting. I'm gonna bring up Tom Palmer about downtown planning, so he can explain some of the things we're into. Since you came tonight, you might as well get to speak. We won't be able to do any actions, but they got to go to council.
No, I don't think, Eric came along with me also, but I don't think, we weren't looking for any type of action tonight. I mean, basically what we're trying to do is just bring the city up to date and try to get some buy-in about what we're trying to do. As far as when Hyatt Palmer was here, obviously, as a third party, we brought in, all right, what's your guys' ideas? What do you think would work for this downtown? What would get things moving forward? They give us their opinion. We have a 98-page document now that shows a third party's interest as somebody that's worked with 26 different downtowns within the state of Indiana. They give their thoughts, probably better than what most of us are, about what they thought would work and what would really start to get some people moving downtown. What would be an easier way to kind of make that go forward. We created an agenda. I mean, the committee that we have, there's a total of 12 of us on the committee. Somehow they made me chair, but at the end of the day, we created an agenda, something that would be low cost, get moving forward, and try to make some movement here shortly. From what we've found walking around talking to business people, their biggest concerns is we haven't done anything. Hyatt Palmer was here 6 weeks ago. What are you guys doing? What are you trying to do? Well, the committee's only been formed for 3 weeks now, and at this point, we have an agenda that we want to start working on. We're looking for low-hanging fruit. We're going to start with the lighting. We're going to start with the signage, and then first and foremost, we want to look at the Riverfront Cultural and Entertainment District. All three of these items are low cost, but big impact. We think it's something that could really help not only downtown businesses actually thrive and move forward, but it'll make it easier for us to attain and attract. I think Eric's in full agreement that to bring in new businesses. If we can show somebody, hey, this is a downtown that's put it together. We have a $50-70 million event center, whatever you want to call it, that's going to attract 2,000 to 3,000 people a month. We have an entertainment district. It's going to make it easier for you to get established, easier for you to maybe get a liquor license. I think that's attractive. I think that's a first step forward to try and get some of these businesses moving and trying to improve the downtown. I mean, I think you guys see it when you walk in here at 6 o'clock on a Monday night. If Brickyard would close their doors, you probably wouldn't see anybody on the street. Blacklist, that's a good help. But we really did want to talk a little bit about the Riverfront District that we're looking at. Everything's preliminary. I was hoping more of the council would be here to kind of get more of the feedback, get some of your questions that maybe we would attain. But at the end of the day, through this process of bringing in the third party of Hyatt Palma, they educated us on an IC code that's out there that allows downtowns the access to make a either historic or an entertainment district that allows to ease some of the licensing fees of attaining liquor license. We're looking into it, and that's really the only thing we really wanted to share with you is that, we're researching this, that Leslie's on board and trying to help us with some of the laws and the different statutes and everything of that nature. But we do believe it's something that could create the foot traffic. I know you have the agenda, or the packet that we put together, Eric helped put together, just really to kind of open up your eyes, hopefully a little bit, attain some questions, let you know where we're at and what we're trying to accomplish. Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, I'm in the process of contacting, I think there's a couple dozen of these districts that exist right now. We sort of just decided this was the first thing we wanted to tackle on Monday, so trying to contact those folks over the holiday week was a little bit difficult. I haven't been able to touch base with many of them, but trying to find out the challenges and the sort of the opportunities that it's created so that we can have a better understanding of exactly what it is we'd be getting into. But also, since I still am having those discussions and conversations, I wanted to make sure that we could come to you and find out what your concerns were, what you'd like to hear, what you'd like to know from those folks, so that once we do kind of get the ball rolling, that we can have all those questions answered for you in a timely manner. So we've attached the South Bend application process and ordinance that they passed.
I don't know if this board has it. This board have it? It was in the council packet.
Okay. And we can get that, we can send that to everyone.
We
so.
have it.
Okay.
Do you have it?
Yeah,
Okay.
just to give you sort of an example of how they did it, and what they did is they're offering, they basically have unlimited liquor licenses, $1,000 a pop, and they have a board that oversees all the applicants. They have very strict guidelines down to what you can be serving alcohol in. It has to be a glass container. You have to have seating and/or benches. They kind of really have gone a long way in determining how they want it structured, and looking at how Richmond, Indiana did it. Theirs was kind of more hands-off. But, there's a lot of leeway within this code. I'm not an attorney, so I don't know the ins and outs, but to me, it's written very broadly so that you can kind of do whatever you would like. And another key thing is that it's basically 6 blocks from the river or from the first developable area. So since we have the levee, it basically comes back to to Ivy Tech there. So I think there was a map included as well. So it's a large area that can be done and encompasses basically every kind of most of Lawrenceburg that you want to include in something like that. So.
The footage is allowable. It's not that we're saying we
Right.
suggest that.
Nope.
But it
can't
is
be-
allowable.
Yep.
Can't be
There's
located more than 1,000.
Lots of
1,500
flexibility.
feet or 3 city blocks from the river, whichever is greater.
But then it also says, or if it's not developable at the river,
Right.
you can push that back, so.
I've got a quick question. Of course, you're trying to get everybody's buy-in. Part of the strategy will be going to the county and LCD and trying to get their buy-in also. I'm sure those two groups will probably be needed for.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a pretty broad, we'd like to get
We'd like to have everybody.
as many folks on board as we can, so.
I mean, the only thing that we're really looking at is to make a district, not to dictate any of the businesses that are existing or that would come in, but more of just allow it to happen.
Right.
Kind of step back and allow things to happen from that standpoint.
And I guess maybe Grant can answer this question. As far as this district, being as our TIF is going to encompass or overlay quite a bit of that area, is there any impact that's going to, in a negative way to the TIF?
We still got to finish researching it, but we don't see any impact. I don't see that it referenced the pre-development code or the TIF code.
It doesn't seem to add
Back to your
anything.
Question on the, he's a member of this partnership board, so is SADS. SADS is really a historical district he's representing, and you asked about.
County.
Shane McHenry's on. So,
County Commissioner Shane McHenry. He said it straight.
yes, good.
Commissioner Shane McKenna.
It's an inside
Did
joke.
at Port Authority meeting the other day. Mike, you have something?
Yeah, just the one thing that, Tommy, you and I'll have to work together on this for a number of reasons. One of the major reasons is going to make sure that what you're proposing complies with zoning. If it doesn't, then we're going to have to look at doing some modifications, some amending of the codes. Right now, the preliminary map does comply with our existing zoning, but once we get something like this in place, if we do so, I'm gonna recommend that we actually add an additional zoning district, which would be an overlay, downtown overlay district, just to make everything mesh and work together. So we'll just have to stay in touch.
Sure.
And just do this, one step at a time.
Right, and as far as I could tell, and the way that other communities did this was essentially passing sort of the ordinance to allow for or to take advantage of the riverfront and cultural and entertainment district. It basically just makes it possible. It doesn't mandate anything. It doesn't change any existing codes. It doesn't really do anything other than say, hey, in this area, the quota limits on liquor licenses no longer exist. So anything else you want to do, if you'd want to add additional eating, drinking, restaurant type places, you would have to obviously then take additional steps. But I think the thing that the committee wanted to do is really, take one kind of initial step, get moving, get the ball rolling, and kind of show people that, the Hyatt Palma, that there is going to be action as a result of that work that was done.
You guys mentioned kind of going after the low-hanging fruit first. Can you identify anything particular that you have a goal set for?
Well, the three things on the agenda would be the signage, the lighting, and then this district. The main thing, well, for one thing, on the lighting, not only was that on our agenda, but if you look at Main Street, they've already done a lot of work for us. They're already getting quotes for what we're wanting to see and to start with. So if there's any way we can help them out and get things moving even quicker there, absolutely. The signage is something that almost every business person that I talked to this week when I walked down through there, and I have not been able to make it to all. I spent a total of 4 hours. I think I made it 6 different places. There's not a lack of
Buy-in
comments.
Yeah.
There's not a lack of comments. Their biggest issue is, what are you doing? What's going on? What's happening? Well, we're just getting things rolling. We're trying to get things moving. But signage was one of the biggest things. I know, Mikey, you probably heard it to no end. One of the biggest complaints that I hear is that the 200 signatures and, on and on that they tell me about. That might be something that we talk about. There might be a better way to maybe write that up. Whether it makes it a little bit easier on them or, I think that's big. When you walk down Walnut, even when they are open.
Mike, I mean, he's not the author of a lot of this.
I'm not saying that.
I administer the codes.
I believe the signage has to be redone, though.
Yeah.
It hampers the business, some of it does.
Every one of the businesses, that was the two things that every one of them mentioned was, I'd like to see something moving forward, and the signage is something they would like to have adjusted.
I mean, this does have to be passed by ordinance by common council. And it can be by ordinance or resolution. But the actual redevelopment area, and I believe it's going to be a redevelopment project area, would have to be established by redevelopment. And we do think that can be done under the Indiana Code. There's 5 different things that have to do. Now, the last thing is that this project must be funded in part with state and city money. So this is not something just the city can fund. I don't know what that means, other than, we may have to look at maybe applying for some grants or something, some kind of, whether, their fees as far as the permits,
And that was the big question I had, that section in particular, what exactly needed to be funded. I'm not really entirely sure.
Right, and I can find out more about where we need to go on that end, but I do think,
You said city and state?
Yes.
This is something the state actually put in place 6 to 8 years ago for riverfront downtowns.
But all the other criteria we meet, as long as, obviously the common council has to be on board. But establishing that the actual area will be our redevelopment.
There may be smoker grants out there too. We'll look into some of that.
We're open for any type of suggestions at all. I mean, we just want to see something happen.
Thomas, would giving grants?
I can look.
Anybody. They don't make any difference to me. EB Sites, I think, get a grant of some money.
Speaking of low-hanging fruit, and I apologize to
Come to the
Tom.
microphone, so we get you on the microphone.
I apologize to Tom and Eric. I've had some issues and haven't made the 2 meetings, and I'm glad you're the president of the
Trying.
committee. Issues with the city of Lawrenceburg and my clerk. Vendors on the riverfront, on the levee, segways, kiosks. There are people that are interested in coming to town right away that should be considered low-hanging fruit that we need to motivate Mr. Clark even more than he is already to deal with those issues, in my opinion. And the LCD will do whatever we can to help. Mr. Seymour, he's down there every weekend day, trimming the wood as it is now, just to clean the riverfront up.
We appreciate if you'd fund half this.
Well, that's a discussion we're going to have.
Wait for later. We're not asking for much money at this point, but.
Well, I will, I'm not bashful.
But no, hopefully people see things moving forward a little bit, or at least, it's nice to kind of let people know what's going on. I know one of the comments from our first meeting, when it was a process committee and not a downtown partnership, it was more of, don't let us sit on the side, right? Trying to do that.
I've got one question for you on the lighting. Elaborate on that a little bit.
As far as the lighting, to elaborate on the lighting, what we're trying to do is maybe put something up that would just make downtown look a little bit better. Right now, we're taking quotes on the top of the buildings. And Mel could speak a lot more to it, but yes, that's.
That's why I asked. I know Mel and I had talked about this issue, and I want to make sure we're talking about the same thing.
Yep, same thing.
Okay.
We hope to complement his efforts.
Okay.
And that's it.
All right, fantastic.
It was part of what was on Hyatt Palma's study, and one of the first things that they said to look at. And then I found out, I think it was our first committee meeting, that Mel had already been working on it. So absolutely, I appreciate
So this would be the facade lighting, not streetscape lighting, correct?
Correct, facade.
Mel, you've already got some quotes and stuff, don't you?
Yeah, sure. If you'd like to share anything, absolutely.
Right off, guys, I need to come.
That's all right.
Yeah, what I'm trying to do is raise enough private funds to get some LED lighting to outline the roof lines of the city buildings from the railroad tracks, or from this block, Center Street, south, and then 1 block each way on High Street. So far, I've talked to Lowe's. We will receive a significant discount, and I have some pledges in tow already. I just haven't had a chance to go around and talk to everyone yet. But we'll get that done, and then I was going to ask the city if they would donate the labor to install those. And that would, hopefully, that'll be all that it cost you all, so.
All I think of is addressed to you.
Yeah, this is something that Mel and I talked about, and I just wanted to make sure that we were talking about the same important issue.
Yep.
Yeah, the problem with the lighting we have now is the ultraviolet light kind of destroys the cords, shorts everything out. These are, nothing is UV proof, but these are UV resistant, so they should last a lot longer, so.
Didn't you say you're gonna change the color lighting to a different
No,
blend?
it's gonna be white.
White?
That gets into a lot more money than I can raise, I think. So,
Thank you, Mel.
you're welcome.
Anything else?
No, thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, guys, keep up the charge. I mean, I think you're right. It was Mike that said, in the past, we've had studies, we've had plans, and they just kind of lay on the wayside there. So,
do our best not to.
Well, you guys.
Youth was on this committee so they can push this thing.
Exactly.
Well, and if, it looks like the 15th will probably be jam-packed full now, but, you're welcome to come back and get back on the agenda if you want. If not, we can definitely address it on the
By the end of
January
this-
5th meeting.
Okay, by the end of this week, we'll make that decision, because if we come back in front of you, we're probably looking more for a vote.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
One more comment on the lights. I brought that up like a year ago. Just let you guys know what you're gonna run into when you get into it is, some of the people that own the buildings downtown are gonna wonder, the liability issue if the lights are gonna damage their roof, because they have to be fastened to their roof. That's written on some notes here. Where are they gonna plug into, because the ones that are plugged in there now are plugged in, like private individuals. And then, a lot of times you have to try to maintain them, because like when people do roofing or construction, they unplug them and they flop over the side of the building. Because I brought this issue up like a year ago to try to get it fixed, and that was some of the stuff I was running into at that point, so.
Okay.
Mel, would you come back to the microphone, please?
When we installed the original lighting, we had waivers and easements signed from each property owner.
Okay.
Okay? The new roofing construction, I don't have any control of that.
I just know, like, a lot of times when I see the roofing, I see it like blowing in the wind, because the roofers would do the edge, or the
I would
parapet
say,
walls and throw the lights over, and then there's blowing, and
I would say the roofers need to pay attention and put them back where they belong.
that's what I would say, but good luck with trying to enforce that.
Oh, I'll enforce it.
Okay.
Okay. They're on ladders, I can shake a ladder until I get it done. And the energy that was used, these will be LED lights, and each 46-foot strand will be less than 10 foot of what we have up there now. And those are plugged into receptacles that are off the buildings, most of them, and the ones that are on the buildings, the owners have agreed to pay for that.
Okay. 'Cause I don't know about where they're all going, but I know the one next to my wife's line, it goes down into Beebs and Bubs. It's fastened on their building. It goes down into there.
Right.
I didn't know where the rest of them are.
Yeah, we have easements there.
Okay.
Already in place.
Okay.
Thanks, Bill. Anything else?
Nope, that was it.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Can I bring up something just real quick?
Go ahead.
We were looking for the money for the Dearborn Community Foundation agreement. There is something in 280. Does anyone know what that's earmarked specifically for? That's on council, maybe? It's $1
What's
million.
What is it? How much?
Dearborn Community Foundation,
It just says Dearborn Community Foundation, 1 million.
is that for the school
No.
endowment?
Maybe it's for both. Maybe it's for both the regular.
The scholarships,
Oh,
endowment,
see,
too.
scholarships are something different, aren't they?
yeah, scholarships are a different line.
Oh, so it must be $1 million that goes into the agreement. That's what we give them to distribute the grants, I believe.
What's the books
Is that
come out
correct?
of?
Probably, because it used to be 2 million. I think it got reduced to 1 million.
1 million. I think it's 1 million.
You had them up.
Yeah.
So,
That
so
should
we're
be the-
good,
yeah,
that
the amount
should
put in.
cover that line item?
Yes.
Okay.
Look again. It's
Okay, review, discuss claims, board approval.
So move.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Against? Anybody want to speak from the audience? Raise all your hand at one time.
When's the next council meeting, Mayor?
15th?
December 15th.
Very good.
Okay, I couldn't have, the council and, utility board because they didn't have lack of, membership. I just want to put that on the record. So everybody knows. There was a couple of them that had medical issues. So, let's take a motion for adjournment.
Real quick,
Go
Gunnar,
ahead.
did you get I abstained from the passing
got
of the
it.
minutes? Okay, very good.
And we may just have to bring those up again, because I don't think you can pass them unless the mayor votes. We'll just bring them up again next time.
Okay.
Motion adjournment.
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
I got this.
I can email you and ask for a copy.
Hey, JR.
You're talking about the 2015.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to get it from Bob.
Everything's good. No 6 weeks.
Well, I haven't had a chance to look at
I don't think we're
look at their ordinance, but their ordinance, but, I mean, I'm trying to get back on. I mean, that's the reason I'm saying this.
We need to go ahead and get this executed while you're here. Save you one trip. Go back and issue the board. Now get the ball rolling.
I don't think so. Yeah, no, I think we're good. The only thing I had was just.
Well, I want to make sure you were in position to hold your pricing and change for that. I didn't think we would. I need to have,
If they do,
I need
bring it
the
up.
price.
Yeah. See you later. How'd you, that was pretty good first meeting for you.
See, I need
That was pretty good first meeting. I wonder what
Let's
this
see.
is.
Phil, you had the quotes. I'll need that. I'll need the line item that was going out though.
I thought it was coming out, it's non-reverted.
You figure out which one.
That way you know your coverage, and if that's not where you want to go,
But
they can always.
if I get that, because I have to do that for some of my projects, just like his project, I'll have to encumber that money. It's just, if you get me that next week, I'll get it on the list and get it covered. Well, good for you.
Take the boat down.
Baby steps.
Okay, you take care of yourself.
Absolutely, nice to meet you.
We had to go get today. So we had to go get patched up, get a whole shot in the butt, the whole 9 yards. It's kind of sluggish.
Give you the advice, but I'm just saying, without those pendants on it.
How are you?
You survey anything out on